Stephon Gilmore is a name that a lot of people have tossed out on the show and asked us about and wanted to have conversations about if he's an option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He gave an update yesterday to Diana Rossini about where he stands in free agency and what things are looking like. Quote, there are still some good corners and safeties out there like Justin Simmons and myself that are still not signed. Honestly, I'm still being patient and staying ready until teams see what they have in training camp. But you mean to tell me among 32 teams that there are 64 starting corners that are better than me? I don't think that. If teams want to win, I think they should sign the best players. I know I'm still a starter in this league. I started games last year, but the season doesn't start until September. I got a while. You look at Stephon Gilmore, you think the Steelers need another cornerback after Cam Sutton's suspension. He's not an inside guy, but maybe he's capable of playing the inside. Maybe you just add another veteran and you figure it out from there, which has been a move the Steelers have been open to in the past. Stephon Gilmore waiting for a team seems quiet. Seems like nothing's going on with this guy as we head into training camp next week. Is he an option for the Steelers as we sit here right now? I think we've shut this down up until this point, but I thought there was a market. Doesn't seem to be a market right now.
Yeah, if there's not a market and he's coming in cheap, there's no reason not to, right? It's low risk, add a veteran, add some depth. It works out, but again, the price has to be right, because you look at Stephon Gilmore as somebody that initially when I hear his name, I think, oh, injury prone, but he's only missed one game in the last 2 seasons. And last year he set a career high in tackles with the Dallas Cowboys. So this is a guy that injury concerns are what they are, but at the same time, he has shown to be able to be available the last 2 seasons. So if you're the Steelers and the price comes in at the right number, I don't see a reason why you don't go out and bring in a guy like Stephon Gilmore, because I honestly think that it's a better option, if not an equal option, to Patrick Peterson, and I'm leaning towards it being much better.
Yeah, I think it's a much look at all respect to Patrick Peterson. I still think he's a valuable corner in the NFL. Stephon Gilmore he's a man-to-man, shut you down corner, and I think it works. And it could be what the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for. Obviously, you gotta talk money. What's it going to cost? If he's looking for a lot of money, I don't see that happening. If he still believes he's a starter, I think that's the difference here. Is Patrick Peterson is somewhat admitting that at some point you got to take that next step down, and that's where he currently stands. I don't believe Stephon Gilmore has that same attitude, which could mean he's looking for more money than Patrick Peterson, but I do believe it works. And if he could play the inside, which a lot of these guys, as they get later into their career, all it takes is them to make an adjustment, play the inside instead of the outside, go back to safety instead of playing corner. Stephon Gilmore's got a lot left in the tank. If you can move him to inside, maybe he's got even more left in the tank. And I'm not saying you get him for 10 years. I'm not saying you get him for 3. I'm saying you get him for 1, and you hope that he's got enough left in the tank to make it work and be a starter. But I think that's best case scenario. Bring him in here, see if he can work the slot. I believe wholeheartedly that he'll be able to make that work. You get Cam Sutton back in 8 weeks, and then your cornerback group is Joey Porter Jr., Dante Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, Cam Sutton, Corey Trice, and Darius Rush. That's not a bad squad right there as you approach a very, very difficult back half of the schedule and probably the playoffs with the team that you're hoping is a competitor. So that's the biggest thing at the end of the day is the Steelers want to win. If we're talking a Brandon Aiyuk trade and a massive blockbuster move and a huge payday for somebody, why are we shutting down? Why would we shut down the idea that they'd be open to a move like this? They have to work out both sides, but I think the Steelers side of it, if the money works out, there's little holding them back to say, oh yeah, let's not do this. Beanie Bishop sounds great. We'll just do this instead. I don't see it. I don't see that. This is a hilarious question. What's going to happen to the Patrick Peterson podcast if he's not with the Steelers? Well, it was there before. It'll be back. It'll continue, but I'm sure he won't have a great reaction to Stephon Gilmore signing. Would you rather Patrick Peterson over Stephon Gilmore, or the vice versa?
I would probably rather have Stephon Gilmore. I think he has a little bit more left in the tank personally, and that's literally the only reason. It's not anything other than the fact that I think Stephon Gilmore has a little bit of a higher upside this year. And again, if it's the price the same, then yeah, Gilmore has more to give.
Yeah. I like this point as well from Brandon. I think the only reason we haven't signed a guy like Gilmore is because they're waiting for Brandon Aiyuk. I think that that's a valuable point. A good point there is the Steelers might be waiting to see what their cap situation looks like after a massive trade and then go and fill the last hole of corner, because you also want money left going into the season. You don't want a ton of money, but if you could walk in there with $6-7 million and the ability to add more throughout the season, that's not a bad place to be. They typically carry 10. I don't know if that's going to be the case with Omar compared to Kevin Colbert, but I could see an Aiyuk trade coming and then saying, okay, look, we have, $4 million left. We'll go sign this guy. Then we'll restructure some contracts and we'll extend that money out and we'll walk into the season. We'll feel comfortable. I think that could be the case.